Hi everybody. I'd like to try to send out these short videos at the end of every week just to review what we did and give you a heads up on what's coming. If it works, great. If it doesn't, let me know. So we introduced the course. This was our first topic. Videos to watch, things to read, listen. I asked you to open Poll Everywhere so that we could do some poll questions. And we went over a number of myths and tried to, you don't need to have 8 hours sleep, kind of like needing 8 glasses of water a day, just not true. But please remember, last name, first initial. I also asked you to please tell me some of the qualities of professors you liked and qualities of professors that you didn't like. We went over some of my pet peeves, and we also had some poll questions about the study that was in the video that I asked you to watch on Lay's potato chips, kind of reviewing all the different research methods. This was a double-blind placebo-controlled study. It showed that the hypothesis was not supported, and they reformulated WOW potato chips. One thing I didn't go over was an article that I asked you to read. This is why you shouldn't believe that exciting new medical study, because there were some other things that had come out I decided to review. But what I wanted you to look at, well, before I go to that, I also, please look that some of you have asked about resources, and we'll get more of them, but these are resources that the things I'm pointing at, Snopes, Quackwatch, this Wayback Archive here, things you should not use. Those are predator journals, so don't use those for resources, and a link to something that a dietitian I know put together if you want nutrition resources. Anyway, that study on not looking at all the exciting things that are out there talked about how, for example, everything we eat both prevents and causes cancer. So you have to use those critical thinking skills that we're beginning to develop. And, well, you guys had the highest number of people that wanted to ban dihydrogen monoxide. Don't be afraid of it just because you can't pronounce it. Make your decisions out of facts, not fear. Then we went into breakout rooms and you posted your questions, although one group's missing. So please post your questions so I can start answering them. Also talked about how correlation does not prove causation. And I reviewed a study that the FDA commissioner talked about, and that you should know the difference between relative and absolute numbers, and it's the absolute number upon which you want to make your decision. Relative risk makes headlines. Then we tried a class activity, which didn't exactly go so well in terms of flow, but we managed to pull it off. We looked at 5 different claims, and I asked you to look at this list here, these lists. This is what I wanted you to compare the different claims to, and let me know whether or not you thought they were reputable, disreputable. Would you make a decision based on those claims? And that's the kind of information that I will ask you about and that you should consider when you're doing your current events, because there's a lot of stuff out there and we need to get you to think about it carefully. Again, make your decisions based on facts, not fear or fad. I like that. The recordings for classes, I'm not going to be sending you a link. There is a button on your menu for course recordings. I forgot about that. And I will be uploading recordings to that place, so you can look there. I also, for those of you that have other questions that you didn't put in the first Padlet and you'd like to have answered throughout the semester, I created another Padlet. It's under assignments. So myths or facts, is it true? They say 1 or 2 things that you've heard about that you just aren't sure. And I'd like you to put your name if you're comfortable. And I'll try to start off the questions. I'll try to start off each class by picking one of the questions or 2 of them. And next week, I'd like your journals by 5. A number of you have asked me what goes in the journals. Just your feedback on how the week went. What worked, what didn't work. Is there any changes that you learned this week that you might want to try to start incorporating into your life? I'd like you to email me the checklist. By emailing me the checklist, I don't want you to print it out and sign it. If you email it to me, just put under subject signed checklist, and that I will assume that you have read it. We'll begin current events, and we'll start talking about infection and immunity. I may make another video this weekend on some of the topics that are in my presentation. I have talked about colds and communicable illnesses. Please have a look at the videos. I may add a couple more things just so that we can spend more time answering your COVID questions. But please look at the videos so that you have some of the background for this topic. And then next week, we'll discuss the To Your Good Health assignment. All right. Bye-bye.